right, so we're recording and we're live on YouTube. Mr. McNerney, did you get the email? Yeah, it might take a minute.
Yeah, I got it.
Awesome. All right, we can call this meeting to order at 6:30 p.m. March 25th, 2021. Let's please recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can I get a roll call, please, sir?
Ms. Combs.
Here, present at my home.
Mr. Ricks.
I'm present in East Texas.
All right, Mr. Smith, I'm present.
Stand by. Okay, and Mr. Swayze is not. Oh, hold on, let me elevate him. Ms. Board Assistant, you're gonna have to elevate him. You did not make me a co-host. Thank you. I'm sorry, Mr. Smith, proceed, please.
Mr. Swayze.
Yeah.
Mr. Underwood.
Here. Oh, well, I'm going to the agenda. I promise I'll be there in a second. All right. Do I have any motions to either modify or approve the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda.
I'll
Thank you, sir.
second
Do I
it.
have a second?
Ms. Combs seconded.
Oh, I did not hear that. Okay. Call for the vote, please, sir.
Ms. Combs.
Aye.
Mr. Ricks.
Aye.
Mr. Smith. Aye. Mr. Swayze.
Aye.
Mr. Underwood.
Motion carries. Agenda is approved. Brings us to 4.1, superintendent comments, sir.
So I just want to take a second and announce that I will not be returning next year, but I just want to say a couple of things first. I won't be long. I believe that with this situation that I was gifted, I took it as a three-phased process. We had some problems. We created challenges from those problems, and then we created opportunities to seize those challenges. And so just for a moment, the problems, COVID, reopening, safety, community, the unilateral termination, the challenges, I created a 100-day plan. And with that 100-day plan, what we did was we prioritized things. We got the right people in the right places. We hired 14 people within inside of a month, the right people. They're all here. We systematized our budgeting, our money management processes for the whole district to embrace what was best for kids so we would never have to go through what we were left. Number two with that is we increased our transparency and our communication, and thank you for our webmaster and taking on that huge challenge. And then lastly, we prioritized rigor across the board, K-12, and we're doing it. The next part of what I'd like to address with that challenge is we assessed the damage and we moved forward with everybody. What we did is we created opportunities from these challenges because it's easy to sit and say, now what? And we didn't. And so what we did was we created systems for finances, for business services, for accountability, for reconciling and management. District now is one-to-one, and we are moving forward. But part of that education is it's one-to-one does you no good unless you train the people how to use the devices. We're doing that. Pre-K vertical alignment, rigor across the board. And part of this, what I'm going through is, I say to my seniors every year, what's the legacy you leave? And so it's important that whoever comes into this position knows they're going to be in a good place. We've instructionally platformed across the district now vertically, and thank you, Ms. Cheeseman, with John Hattie, McTighe, Marzano, data-driven, truly data-driven practices with our PLC platforming, with our interventions and supporting kids and systematizing that. Operations, Chuck has just done incredible work in branding, as the SCAP has said, and food services. Melissa's just taken the bull by the horn, wrote 2 grants inside of 2 months and said, here we go. Again, these are all people that have said, we're on board for Hanover. And that's what we want. Miss Cheeseman, getting the ELG grant for 4 years, $100,000 a year. This is the curriculum, part of our strategic priorities. Thank you, Michelle. And then my executive administrative assistant. I just can't say enough about Shauna. I got to keep my calm. So what are the results? We have now map data to say it's not subjective. PHE did some things with their map data this year, just off the charts. Wonderful stuff. That's that vertical alignment I'm talking about. 2021 graduating class this year, first one ever, College Board benchmark ready. Kudos to all those kids. 2 years of 100% graduation. We'll see if we get it this year. The academic growth is growing, but I have to say to everybody, the school board has been my best friend this year. You guys have put up with a lot of stuff, and I just can't thank you enough for your support. I couldn't do it without you. And then I'll leave you with a couple of things. I leave you with structure. I leave you with systems. Paul, I know you're listening, and so is everybody. The rigor, K-12, I'm looking right at you. We are leaving the district with rigor K-12, not just junior, senior. Thank you, Michelle. And the integrity to do the things right with fidelity is what we're leaving with. And so that's my 10-minute speech, but I can't thank the teachers, the staff that have tolerated me. I just can't thank them, because the faculty and staff, good Lord, we'd be nothing without them. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your comment. But I would like to ask one clarifying question. And basically, your decision is based solely on personal reasons, that has nothing to do with basically all of those things that you just talked about.
Correct.
Okay, thank you, sir. Comments, Mr. Rick, sir.
Well, I'll say, just kind of piggybacking off of our superintendent's comments, we do have phenomenal staff. We have a great sector. We are moving in the direction the district needs to go financially, personnel, everything. And it's an honor to be a part of, and just thankful for everyone involved, parents, everyone making that happen. That's all I got.
Thanks, sir. Mr. Swayze, sir.
I would like to thank Mr. McNerney for all that he has started and done and finished, and for helping our students as much as he has. And I agree with him. We've got a phenomenal staff. They're really outstanding group. And I would like to thank him for all he has done. That's it.
Thanks, sir. Mrs. Combs.
I would like to say thank you to Mr. McNerney as well. He has done phenomenal things with the district. He will definitely be missed. I believe that we have some good systems in place now. We have a phenomenal staff and administration, and I look forward to where this district's going, but we will definitely miss him, and I appreciate everything he's done. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Smith, sir.
Just kind of piggybacks the others. Thank you, Mr. McNerney, for what you've brought to the district. And I had a graduate at Hanover just the year before you came, and there was a lot of frustrations that I had and my son had with things happening at the high school. And I see the turnaround that you've made and the rigor you've brought, which is important, and the accountability to the teachers and the students, and letting them all know that all of us are part of the education. It's not just one side. It didn't bring it in those parents. And it's really great to see that PHE's brought on the rigor also. Kudos, Ms. Cheesman. But it's great to be a unified district and to look forward that as our students move from house to house, so to speak, they're going to have the same expectations and the same understanding. So thank you for bringing that rigor and consistency to the district.
Thank you. So, Mr. McNerney, you know me, I'm not a sappy guy, right? But I do want to say I'm extremely sad to to see you go. I think that you have done amazing work, not just as a principal of Hanover Junior Senior High School, but also in your role as interim superintendent over this past 9 months or so. And I know that if I were, as I am now, to publicly praise you for your great work, that you're just going to try to pass that on to those personnel that have supported and assisted you in those endeavors, both of them. But I think everyone here knows that if it weren't for your systems and systematic approach and your emphasis on rigor and your emphasis on I forget the phrase, grade level 13, right? That this district would not be where it is today. So I'm sad to see you go. You got a few months left, so don't be dogging it. You need to help us, right? You're going to be vital. You are going to be a vital person in giving your recommendations for the personnel that are going to lead your systemic, rigorized process forward. But again, thank you for everything you've done for this district. I know it's a little premature. We got, 3 months left, 3 months and a little bit of change, but thank you. And
Thank you. Thank you. I will tell you all, my fidelity is what I preach. I started with ferocity and I will end with it. I'll promise you that.
Thank you. Very much appreciated. All right. That brings us to 5.1, Superintendent Search Committee. So I'll reuse Mr. One McNerney's words. We still don't have the fidelity that we need from revenue projections from the state to really make the honest to goodness 100% no kidding determination as to whether or not we can afford single role, dual role, how many administrators, whether we call them deans or assistant principals and all that kind of stuff. But based on everything that I have seen with the revenue projections, I believe that it's 85, 90, maybe even 95% certain that we are not going to be able to afford a single role superintendent. So my query to the board is, do we reset the superintendent search committee, giving them the direction to rewrite their job description and all the other supporting documentations to move forward with dual role?
I believe with our financials right now, that would be the best and probably the smartest move. Considering we can't financially afford to do 2 single roles. So I'm okay with moving them forward, rewriting the description for dual role. It wouldn't be
And
my
you
first
on-
choice,
Oh.
but since we have to do it, it is what it
Mrs.
is.
Palmgino, I'm right on board with you. That is not my first choice either.
Yeah.
But I'm a realist, and I think that's where
Yeah.
we're at.
No, I'm there with you.
So the
I
real
think-
question is, do we keep waiting or move on? Mr. Swayze, you unmuted yourself. I think you have a comment.
Yeah, I got a lot in my head, but I don't want to share them all. We need to decide also if we're gonna do this, whether it's 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, because my opinion is 1 year, and then we'll readdress it.
That's also fair.
Well, then
So,
that-
Mr. Ricks?
I was gonna say, because if we do it for 1 year, then that way we might have a better option financially as things are moving in the right direction to then at that time move forward to single role. So I did have a question on this committee as well. And just maybe pick y'all's brain on it. The fact that we now know that our current superintendent is taking his name out of the hat. Would it be advantageous to the district, knowing that we all appreciate the systems he has in place, if he were to join that committee, knowing that he will not be part of that?
I think that's a good recommendation, personally. Mr. Smith, your thoughts?
I
I
think
like
that'd be
it.
a good idea to have him help assist. And my thoughts on a dual role is, I think we can make dual role work, but the key is the control. Is as a school board, we need to have that control and that person understand that here are our expectations, and you need to be accountable to these expectations, and that to be part of the contract. The committee has set forth what they do, but I think it's paramount that this board, if we're going to do dual role, we kind of remember all those kind of thorns we had from the previous 2 dual roles, and we as a board circumvent or mitigate those to the best of our ability so that we bring somebody in and that could be successful for the district. And because that's the key for me, is we need to make sure that we set this next superintendent up so that the district has success. In all honesty, anybody that qualifies, they should be successful on their own, but my concern is the district success.
Well, and I would also then, if we were to also ask Mr. McNerney to be on that committee, I guess we'd have to ask him if he'd even be interested in that as well. That would only be fair.
Or since we're the board, we could just direct them to do it. We can vote.
So I don't know how to respond to that directive, but sir, yes, sir, is all I'll say. I would be happy. I would be privileged to join that.
I think that makes a lot of sense. That's a great suggestion, Mr. Rick. Okay, so now, how does everyone feel that we should move forward with that? Should we, it's almost 4 weeks until our next meeting. Should we call a special meeting and give direction to the search committee to add Mr. McNerney and continue to move forward immediately? Or should we wait till our next board meeting? What do you guys think is best? I mean, I know what I think is best, but I'm not going to say anything. I'll let you guys throw stuff out.
I believe we should get going sooner than later. If we have to have a special board meeting, I believe that's what we should do, in my opinion.
I agree with that.
I think maybe next Monday might be a good day. That would give the chair of the superintendent search committee a little time to prime the members so that it isn't just a shock to them.
Okay. Mr. Riggs, sir?
Yeah, I mean, the earlier the better, the more feasible. I understand the shock factor, but I mean, we know that we have this committee, and that the committee hasn't had that much to do with recently since we kind of abandoned it for a couple months. We're only a month past it, so some people preparing
Pause is the word we use, not abandon, pause.
pause a 2-month break. We're already a month into the 2-month break, so I mean, most should be kind of ready and have an idea, getting time to come back to work. So
Okay, so expect to see a notice from me unless anyone objects for a special meeting, 6:30 PM on Monday. And unless someone brings up something else, that'll be the only thing on the agenda. So there's that. Anything else on superintendent search committee?
when would we be expecting that email for special meeting?
Not tonight, tomorrow.
Okay, good deal. Good deal. I'm just concerned that if we do wait too long, that we might not have the candidate base that we need to be picking from.
And that's always been the driving factor here, right? I mean,
Right.
That's why we started it in January, to try to get as large of a candidate base as possible. So. Yeah. Sir?
If we're going to do that, can I already schedule a meeting for Tuesday or Wednesday?
Sure. I mean, that's entirely up to you. Obviously, nothing's official until we vote, right?
Yeah, that's true. But if we want
Based
to
on
get it
everything
going,
that I've heard tonight, I can't imagine that vote isn't going to pass. But yeah, I would think that's fine.
okay, I'll get a hold of everybody, I guess, then and see when we can get it together.
All right. Obviously, when we formed the superintendent search committee, we gave them timelines, not necessarily schedule, but timelines and all that stuff. So what I'll actually do in the I'll put together a new resolution with the changes. Since we started this by resolution, we might as well modify and start moving forward by resolution, unless anyone objects.
No.
Okay. All right. Anything else on superintendent search committee? Anyone, please? All right. That brings us to 6.1. Approved minutes from the March 17, 2021 regular board meeting. Do I have a motion to approve 6.1?
I move to approve 6.1.
Thank you, sir. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I think that was Mr. Ricks that squeezed in. All right, thank you. So discussion. I believe that phone number that's on the attendee list is Pat. Pat, if that's you, please unmute. Because I have one relevant question for you. Okay, I see you unmute. So Pat, the question is do you think, in your opinion, have you looked at the minutes that we're about to pass, and is that what you need to move forward with the banking actions?
Yes, that should take care of what I need.
Awesome. Thank you, ma'am. Any other questions, comments, concerns, discussion on 6.1?
None.
Hearing none. Call for the vote, please, sir.
Ms. Combs,
Aye.
Mr. Ricks,
Aye.
Mr. Smith, aye. Mr. Swayze,
Aye.
Mr. Underwood.
Aye. Motion carries. Minutes are approved. Brings us to 7.1 executive session. I would like to make a motion to move into executive session to discuss positions, relative matters that may be subject to negotiation developing strategy for negotiations and instructing negotiators in accordance with CRS 24640224E. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Call for vote, please, sir.
Ms. Combs,
Aye.
Mr. Ricks,
Aye.
Mr. Smith, aye. Mr. Swayze,
Aye.
Mr. Underwood.
Aye, motion carries. We're only coming back to adjourn, so if anybody wants to hang around just for that, please feel free, but we're gonna go to a different Zoom meeting now for our executive session. We are temporarily adjourned from the regular board meeting. All right, we'll meet everybody there.
Randy.
Sir.
Randy, got to send me
Yeah.
the link. Remember, I'm on the phone. I can't get it on that iPad.
I sent you an email. Can you get your email on the phone?
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, it's on your email.
All right.
Were you able to get into the other meeting, Mr.
Hey, Ed, sorry you couldn't get into the executive session. I'll call you in a minute and give you a synopsis of what we talked about, if that's fine. Ed, you still there? Yep, there he is. Does anyone else have Paul showing up on their screen as Randy Underwood?
Yes, it's because of that link you sent out. You sent your
Yeah.
link.
I am
Oh,
too.
got it.
Yeah, I am under
Sorry.
it too.
Got it. I didn't know that the link was to individuals. I thought it was just the panelists. My bad.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right, so we've re-adjourned at 7:41 p.m. on March 25th. Ed's still struggling with his audio, but the only other piece of business we have on the agenda is adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a
So
motion.
move to adjourn.
I think Danielle beat you, Mr. Smith, so we'll
I'll
call you
second.
the second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Aye.
All right, we're adjourned. Mr. Swayze, if you could give me a call on my house phone as soon as you leave, I'll give you a synopsis of the executive session.
All right.
All right, thank you, sir.